learners, till now we have discussed the fluid stages of psychosexual development, and the description of each and every stages also we have discussed. So just to recall and help you to understand more clearly, we will again see that what all are stages which Freud has emphasized for the psychosexual development. And here he has also emphasized that libido, that pleasure seeking behavior, though it is not by the sexual activity, by touching the bodily part, by getting the pleasure from the some of the organs, like, and some of the behavior like sucking and biting and chewing, and some of the behavior like control of urine and toilet training, and further the child knows that now he is a boy, he is a girl, and when he or she start knowing that he starts behaving differently with the opposite sex, all this has a important significant effect in the personality. So let us see, quickly review what all are the stages proposed by the Freud in the psychosexual development theory. The first stage is oral stage, from the birth to 18 months. Then it is main focus is on gratification of oral need, like feeding, breastfeeding, and fulfilling the like whenever the child is hungry, he should be provided with the food in the time. So that was more important. And side by side, we have discussed in our previous session the id, ego, and superego. Id is based on pleasure principle. Like, if want the child, if something is needed, that is needed. It has no rationalization. Then ego comes in action. In ego, the person behaves in a manner which is socially accepted. So up to the age of 4 months, the child is behaving like a id, like crying for the feed. But when he or she observe that mother is there to have giving that feed, mother is there, other family members are there and taking care of him. When the child do the bedwetting, then he has been placed in a dry area by the caregiver. So the child develops that trust in this particular stage. The oral stage is significantly starts from the birth to 18 months, but child starts developing that faith from the age of 4 months. So in oral stage, if that pleasure seeking through the sucking and chewing is not done, and not that trust is not developed, then the child will not have that habit of trusting others in the adulthood. In anal stage, that control of muscles, like for urination and for defecation, if toilet training is not giving properly, so that control starts. But that if we are teaching them properly, they will have a good behavior of maintaining cleanliness and punctuality, and that following the rules and regulation, because they are doing in their own body, they are learning through the toilet training. In the phallic stage, the awareness of genital organs are taking place, they know they are the girls, they are the boy, and the girls more start loving with the father, and the boys are more taken loved by the mother. So this is all because they are now aware of their sex. In the latency stage, now they are more comfortable with the same gender, that we have discussed from the age of 6 to 12 years. And in the 12 years to adulthood, that is the genital stage, which has a sexual interest, development of partners, because it is the adolescence phase child is undergo, the development of the reproductive organs is taking place, secondary sexual characteristics are also taking place, which are visible, and they start having that sexual interest and the sexual behaviors for getting the pleasure. So now we will also recall the concept of fixation. Fixation is something like if the child in the particular stage is able to fulfill that need and able to get that pleasure in a particular stage, so he or she will have a healthy personality. Now fixation, we can see the behavior manifestation of fixation vary according to stage of psychosexual development in which fixation takes place. For example, child's inability to forego mother as love object during the oral stage leads to the development of such behavior manifestation like thumb sucking, alcoholism, and smoking. Because if mother is not giving the food giving the feed to the child. So he or she will start doing thumb sucking. Or in the later stage, alcoholism. Once they start like as a experimentation, then they may have a habit of it, have a habit of smoking. So these behavior pattern helps the individual to continue the erotic attachment with the love object of oral stage, whereby continue to desire pleasure from stimulation of erogenous zone of lips and mouth. Similarly, fixation can happen during anal and phallic stage and latency stage as well. Let us see one by one. Significance of psychosexual stages for development of personality. As we have seen that many of our personality traits, behavior pattern are rooted to the stage of psychosexual development. So psychoanalysis is considered adult behavior as a product of infantile psychosexual stage. According to Freud, individuals subsume sex energy in their behavior through the psychological process of displacement, sublimation, and reaction formation. So significance, if you see, for example, the sexual fantasies of an adult are looked as a continuation of phallic stage. In phallic stage, once they are aware, they are the boy, they are the girl. Similarly, over cleanliness or over emphasis on order and punctuality is considered as a reaction formation against the anal stage of infantile psychosexuality. If toilet training was so strict, so child become adapt that behavior till the adulthood. The process of psychosexual genesis is one of the dialectic growth. It can lead to development of normal and abnormal behavior depending upon the experiences of the individual during different psychosexual development stage. So dear learner, it is very important that you should know the stage and related developmental aspect and the pleasure in that particular stage the child, he or she is getting and how it has been fulfilled. Now, personality traits developed during oral stage. Let us just recall that we have discussed earlier also. Oral stage activities, sucking, swelling, and the prototype of many character traits that develops during subsequent years is in one's life. Pleasure derived from oral incorporation may be displaced to other mode of incorporation such as pleasure gained from acquiring knowledge of passions, biting or oral aggression may be displaced in the form of sarcasm and argumentativeness. So, if person is doing more argument, like orally he is getting pleasure out of it, and alcoholism and smoking we have discussed earlier. So, by displacement and sublimation of various kinds as well as by defense against the primitive oral impulses, these prototype mode of oral functioning provides the basis for development of vast network interest, attitude and character traits. Since the oral stage occurs at the time when the infant is completely dependent on mother for substances, the feeling of dependency arises during this period. If she succeeds in fulfilling the need of the child at that particular point, dependency leads acquiring the virtue of hope. Feeling of hope is characterized by the belief that the need will be taken care of properly by his or her mother. This belief helps the child to enter into the trusting, warm relationship with the mother, which ultimately leads to optimism in a life. So, that faith the child starts developing from the age of 4 months, 6 months. Then nurturing the warm bond between mother and the child during this period set the stage of trusting and affectionate relationship with others in a later life. But if rejection by the mother or undue frustration experienced by the child in this particular stage resulting from non-fulfillment of his or her need can lead to pessimism and mistrust in later life. Person will not be able to trust anyone if child is not able to trust on his or her mother. So it is the oral phase that child attachment to the crucial people around him or her in his environment, her environment, his or her feeling of love, hate towards these people develop. Dear learner, it is very important to understand this Freudian concept. A fundamentally warm relationship between mother and the child has been established during this period. The stage will be set for the development of trusting and affectionate ties with others in a later life. If optimism is typical of individuals' strongly fixation in an oral sucking period, pessimism is a trait of individuals who have never properly resolved the frustration of oral biting stage. So in extreme cases, this pessimism may go completely out of normal bounds and become psychological depression. Thus, even within the first year, some of the important characteristics of personality are established. So Freud has given this concept that personality development starts from the birth, and the way we behave with the child also behave in the manner in the later stage. Now, personality traits development during anal stage. Oral stage we have discussed. According to psychoanalysis, ego development is complete during the anal stage. Now child understand what is socially accepted behavior, because ego is there, rational. For everything, for his or her behavior, there is a rational, because it has been taught this is not a socially accepted behavior and this is a socially accepted behavior. So as a result, sense of reality overbears pleasure seeking in a child. He or she will not cry like anything now, because he knows it is not acceptable behavior. Sometimes we make a family rule. I know when we used to go out, my parents used to say, we are going out for this many hours, for example, for market. We are not going to buy anything. We will go just and purchase one particular thing. You will not demand anything, and whatever, and we will have a dinner when we will come back at home. So child know that we will not cry for anything and demand anything. So in this stage, so personality trait develops during, if we talk about anal stage, maternal care is combination with the conflict surrounding toilet training, alters the direction of pleasure seeking of the child. Compulsiveness, neatness seen in some individual is often seen as from the aggression to the anal stage. If mother is showing unnecessary anger, if child has done the wetting, like urine, if he has passed the urine, he has not used the toilet, if mother is showing anger, the child will also have that aggressive behavior in future. So depending upon the particular method of toilet training used by the mother and her feeling, because if child has passed the urine in the pant or pajama, so we should not shout on the child. We can make him learn, okay, this time you have, but next time if you have that feeling, please let me know. In the school also, we send one extra set of clothing, because it is based on this. If child will not be embarrassed if he has passed the urine or if he has passed the stool, so there is another set of clothes ready and child will not be embarrassed. So this kind of training if we are giving, so child will have that aggression will not develop. If we are showing aggression and if we are saying that, oh, you have passed and we will make fun of that particular child, so he will have that fixed behavior with this urination and passing a stool. So if the mother is very strict and repressive in her method of child rearing, the child may hold back its feces and become constipated. If this mode of reaction generalized to over way of behaving, the child will develop retention characteristics. It will become obstinate and stingy in its character. So instead of the child vents its rage for expelling the feces at the most inappropriate times, expulsive traits like cruelty, destructiveness, temper tantrums and disorderliness are developed. So it is very important that toilet training should be given properly. Thus the basis for large number of behavior traits is laid down during anal stage. Toilet training is an important activity as it leads to development of value and trait of an individual. Child learns to bring the erotic gratification resulting from defecation in social control. Normal continuation of the anal expulsive period includes an interest in the ball habit. Mother asks after every half an hour, you want to go to the toilet? Baby, you want to go to the toilet? And once the baby passes and uses the toilet, he or she gets reward, like, very good, my child is growing. Now you will not be using the diaper if they are using. So this is one of the example. So we have to behave very politely. So some people are so concerned with the ball that this interest becomes the central to their individual personality. Failure at the resolution of anal conflict lead to the constellation of character traits, which are called anal character. Anal character is characterized by the traits like excessive devotion to the details and unevenness of character leading to easy anger and outbursts. So that concentration and focus is also depend on the anal stage. Now, personality traits developed during phallic stage. The behavior of the child during phallic stage is marked to a great extent by the operation of Oedipus complex. Although it is notified after the age of 5, it remains a vital force in personality throughout the life. Oedipus complex is for the boys. We have discussed, they start loving their mother more, and they have less, like they spend more time with the mother, and the opposite, girls want to spend more time with the father. They are more comfortable with the father. Nowadays the tagline Papa ki pari, ki the girls are more likely by the father. So attitude towards the opposite sex and towards people in authority are largely conditioned by Oedipus complex. Repression of Oedipus complex causes the superego to undergo its final development. So according to Freud, we are discussing the differences in the resolution of Oedipus and Electra complexes are the basis for difference in male and female personalities. According to Freud, he has considered female to be weak, dependent and inferior, basically because of development of penis envy and the associated psychodynamics. So this was the Freudian concept for the personality traits developed during the phallic stage. Now, this view is criticized worldwide. The criticism was led by Karen Harney, another influential psychologist. All the sexual development stages, phallic stage is the most eventful one. Development of this stage influenced the personality markedly. The transition from Oedipus striving to adult sexuality is a prerequisite of normal development. Failure to resolve Oedipus complex is seen as a nucleus of adult neurosis. According to Freud, neuroses are characterized by an unconscious clinging of Oedipal tendencies. How the child emerges from Oedipus situation exerts profound influence on the development of character and personality. So, personality traits developed during latency in genital stage, Freud was much preoccupied with the form of infantile sexuality and its influence on the psychological development of person. As a result, Freud has not written how the course of development during these two stages related to personality. The psychoanalysis has not given much emphasis on these two stages in comparison to the first three stages: oral, anal and phallic. Development in latency stage help the child to acquire sense of competency and industry, because in latency stage we have seen now focus is not on the pleasure, or focus is not on the sex organ, focus is not on the opposite sex, because in this particular stage they are spending more time in the same gender and they are more focusing on their personal growth. They are taking part in their extracurricular activity, they are involving them in their scholastic activity, and they are focusing that what they are going to become in future. They are more focused on self in this latency stage. So, personality traits during the latency and genital stage, competency feeling and that conscious developed as a result of benefit that by the child from diverting its urges to various non-sexual activities like recreational, academic and social. that we have discussed. The person start working on his or her strength. With the diversion of child active interest to these activity, it gets an opportunity to excel, prove himself and show the creativity. Okay, so in latency stage, the person become more creative. Genital stage, which brings roughly within the onset of adolescence, is a period when group activity, vocational planning and preparation for family life taking place. Now in genital stage, we have discussed they are more focused on their sexual activity, and they are more now they know they are boys and they are girl. By the end of adolescence, these socialized altruist feeling becomes fairly well established, and the person becomes transformed from pleasure seeking narcissistic infant into a reality oriented socialized adult. So I hope all of you have understood the concept of Freudian regarding psychosocial development, and this concept will help you to understand how the each and every stage, how the caregiver, how the family members are behaving and helping the infant, helping the toddler, helping the adolescent to adjust in that particular stage will directly or indirectly affect the behavior and the personality in later stage of life. So I hope with this you are able to understood the Freudian concept on psychosexual development. Thank you.